Sergeant Bellflower kept reiterating the fact that the standards that she has as her own soldiering would be shown regardless of the female or male standards, and that she would be accepted into the group.
All right. Soldiers not willing to talk to his direct commander. What other examples did we see of how that skit rolled? What was your takeaway from that skit? Nervousness. On whose part?
On the part of the soldier going through.
Some anxiety. So diversity. Everybody on this lineup that we had up here, we're all from Minnesota, but we know there's differences. So add more diversity to this lineup. Genders, races, ethnic. So look how challenging that would be when you start adding topics to it. Any other takeaways from your skit? What was the highlights, or what was your
reaffirmation of the soldier's good attributes? How to take that to the next
Yeah. I wish I had the dream team, right? Why couldn't they? I think I don't know like me, but I wish I could pick a dream team. Let's get rid of this. Where are these other replacements coming from? Remember, my famous quote is, we are less than 0.5% of the total voting population in the United States. People that don a uniform are less than 0.5% will don a uniform. I don't have all Yale students. I don't have all Harvard students. I get what I get. To diversify, I need everyone I can get. Everyone is a valuable person. I can't just throw them away and give them, they're not out there. Any takeaways from that skit? Any takeaways from the skit? You don't have to be the spokesman. You can appoint somebody. Already said. Okay. Takeaways? All right, so who's ready for the next skit on diversity? Topics of diversity. Who's ready? Oh, there we go. Okay, are you plan on? Go ahead and take some time to set up. So keep in mind again, diversity, the impacts of it, the who's, the what's, the when's, the where's, and even though in Minnesota we're all the same, we're not. We have diverse backgrounds, we have diverse cultures, we have diverse. It's not just the color of your skin. I have to communicate effectively regardless of we're all the same. Well, they're very, very elaborate on their prep time. Set the bar a little bit higher now. That bar was very well set. And again, 2 for 1, group involvement. Do you see group involvement? Do we as instructors value group involvement? Gotta have it. Drive it home. Okay, so ready, see.
All right, LT, here's what's going to need to happen.
All right, take a seat over there, Motor Sergeant. XO, I see you brought your newest lieutenant with you there.
Right in that right there.
We need to talk, you and I. What time were we supposed to be here, readiness NCO? Attention! Sir.
Ready.
Let's hear real quick. We need to get that battalion call.
Hey, listen up. We got to talk about important stuff, okay? We got the Christmas party coming up, and I know personally that this is very important to the family. And it's important that we plan this activity for the families. I'm all about the family. And then we got to talk about NCOER.
For a sec, what Christmas party? We never did that in OCS.
If he talks again, he's going to climb up these stripes and do something.
Yeah, Roger, for a second,
we're talking
boys,
about,
they're just not even interested in bringing their families.
okay, look, the Christmas party is important to the families, so they need to bring their families.
Yeah,
And
we
we
have
talk
main
about
course.
schedule
Main course
readiness,
first.
we need to talk about NCOERs, and why people aren't current.
First, sir, look, I think the
Whoa, this is not how we did it, Ranger Back.
Whoa!
How do we do Christmas parties at Ranger Back? I'm curious.
Do they
They
even
sound
have
like
Jumping out of planes.
I mean, it was important to the families, right?
Okay.
And it was how was your readiness at
XO,
Ranger Back?
hold on, I gotta get this jump. Dude, someone stole our guy.
Yeah, we got MSLA coming up, we got ALC coming up first, we need to work on the training plan for everything that's coming.
We have mandatory briefs, the Christmas party and dental to get taken care of.
In OCS, we didn't do all this stuff.
Why is he still talking?
We need to get all of our driver's licenses right now. I have to get
I
that
have
on
the
notes.
driver's
Christmas
license. I told
party.
you I have the driver's license all ready to
Christmas
go.
party, dental readiness, and NCOER. All that's important.
You have all the NCOERs right now, First Sergeant. They're waiting for you to get reviewed.
Sir, get up.
We do that in OCS. Can't resolve a problem, we just flutter kicks.
All right.
Yeah. You guys got your shit together, I'll be back. So,
It's not time for the Italian training meeting yet.
okay,
Sir, you might as well leave.
This is NCO business.
let's discuss this Christmas party.
Very important.
It's important to the family.
Not bad.
Okay, so when was the last time you were to the dance?
All right, now, before you read your scenario, well, no, go ahead, read your scenario. What was your assignment? What was your task? Who had it?
We were supposed to present a discussion between your team members on explaining what types of team building we could perform and how to implement and resolve the time conflicts that may occur. So we chose company training.
Okay, and how did you, what was the types of team building we could perform? What team building exercises did you establish?
Dental readiness.
Dental readiness. That's gonna be your.
Christmas party.
Trying to establish a Christmas
party.
I definitely, okay, let's see, what was your takeaway from that skit?
They were trying to, well, the first art was hell-bent on establishing a family day or a Christmas party.
We're in Syria.
Good, and NCOER, that was the only thing on his mind, or the rest of them said that they had no problems with the first art.
Okay, did we solve the conflict?
No.
No, we didn't. We did a good job demonstrating the conflict, but we didn't solve the conflict. Our diversity requires us to be able to determine how to get in that angle of, hey, we need to solve it. What were some of the challenges they had?
The first sergeant was pretty hell-bent on just his task. He wasn't worried about the other individual's background. Sergeant Elder kept on bringing up the fact that that's all he knows is OCS and how they did it in OCS, so he couldn't have any input on how they needed to get the issue at hand solved.
So communication and diversity is, I don't know where you came from. I don't know how you speak. I don't know what your language is. I need to diversify to understand how that works on the backside. Again, we had the lineup of the Minnesota soldiers and what they represent, the demographics. They're not all the same. Oh yeah, we don't need diversity. Everybody's saying Minnesota. That's not true. It's not just the color. It's not just the ethnic. It's just not the background. All right. Any other takeaways from that skit? Two problems. Is there another problem? Officer problem. And what was that problem? He was new. What problem? How could we solve that problem?
I think it was an officer NCO. diversity.
Conflict there. The communication of that diversity is, hey, what can we do to prevent that?
Find a liaison between the two.
A go between. What's another thing the Army has? When you're new to my unit, a mentorship. So hey, here's how it works.
Have the Excel step up and try to keep the timeline, having an actual meeting outline and the meeting agenda there so that everybody stays on task, so that we know at this point in time, we're gonna talk about this, 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 and this. And then just getting to know each other as a group when you're actually in your meetings, that's gonna help everything out. So you kind of understand where each person is coming from.
Very good. Diversity, communication, respecting them. Every day I gotta use it. I gotta use it at work. Diversity, I gotta use it because it's I'm not always gonna be in the same slot I'm in. I gotta use diversity all the time.
Is there not times where that diversity doesn't matter because you still have to complete a mission?
I need all the trigger pullers I get.
I don't care if you don't know how to do this. We still need to get this done. So the way you were raised, the information you know, shut up and let's get this stuff done. Correct?
Okay, correct. Now,
Because
now say that to me in a foreign tongue, or I'm going to say it to you in a foreign tongue. Zee-brat-brat-brat. What did I just tell you to do?
Actions speak louder than words.
So then I have to lead by example.
Roger.
So there's that challenge. Yes, we're in the army. It ain't all hugs and joys and kisses. Don't read that wrong. It's a pain. It's a pain. Again, hire new ones. Where's my replacements?
I'm not saying hire new ones, but you can't coddle everybody. and
No,
say, "Oh,
no, we're not gonna coddle. We're gonna respect them. We're gonna respect them. What happens if we don't respect them? What happens if I don't respect you?
There's a difference between, there's a fine line there with the respect and coddling, and there's been some issues that the coddling has been said as respect, but then that soldier or that situation still fails because of that fine line. When if there was a hammer that came down, the problem could have been solved.
Conflict, resolving them, communication, what could we do? What can we do to resolve that coddling versus the mission? What could we do?
I like the old school way of
Effectively communicate standards.
hold them to the standards. But the Army seems to get very wishy-washy with the standards because of the diversity. Pretty sure we all wear a uniform. I'm not a white guy, I'm not a dumb redneck, I'm U.S. Army service member, staff sergeant, one each.
Doctor. G.I. Joe, government issue. However, were they all government issue GIs? Were they all the same?
I was near that.
Pardon?
I was near in that part.
Oh, okay. When I make that reference, what am I saying when I make that reference? For those that don't know. We had a group of people show up from this, each representative had a group member up here, and we saw the diversity within them. Well, you're all from Minnesota, you're all the same. We found there's a lot of diversity amongst us. Even though we are GI issue, there's still some things that we have to take into consideration. All right, so what's our next? Did you read your, yeah, you did. Okay, what's our next one? Who's ready? Go ahead, make it happen. Thank you very much. You need time to set up.
Already set up?
We're already set up. You want to read your script, or are you going to let them figure it out? We'll let them figure it out. So as these skits are going on, how does this have to do with diversity? And seniors.
All right, good morning, everybody. For those of you that do not know me, I'm Sergeant Anderly. I am the 2nd Battalion Sharps representative. One step further, I'm also a state victims advocate for the state of Minnesota. So I've had a lot of people come up to me lately and ask a lot of different questions about the types of different types of reporting for sexual assault. So what are some of the questions that you guys may have?
What can I do if I was sexually assaulted and I don't want anyone to know about it?
Okay,
Want that
so
information?
you're asking what is a way you can report it?
Yes.
Okay, so there are two types of different reporting. There's a restricted reporting and an unrestricted reporting. So your question was, who do I talk to without anybody else knowing?
What are my options?
What are your options? Okay. So your only option for that is if you don't want anybody else to know, it's called a restricted reporting. It's restricted reporting. There's only certain people that you can talk to. A couple are the victim's advocate, which would be myself, or Master Meyer. There's a couple from 1st Battalion. Sergeant Torgenson's one, I believe. So you can talk to us. You can go straight to the SARP, which is a state person. There's a number on the board. I don't have it on me. You can talk to the chaplain. Or if you are not on duty at that time, you can go to the hospital and talk to a SANE nurse, which is a sexual assault nurse. And depending on whether or not your state is mandated reporting, is whether or not they can do restricted reporting or not. So in Minnesota, it is a mandated reporting state. So when you go to a hospital, they have to report it. So that pretty much takes out the SANE nurse. But some states are not mandated reporting. So those are pretty much the three people we can talk to within the military.
What if I told my squad leader on accident?
So if you're told your squad leader, that automatically goes to an unrestricted reporting. It's anybody in your chain of command, whether it be your squad leader, your team leader, your CO, your platoon leader, they are mandated to report that sexual assault. And then that automatically becomes an unrestricted report.
They can't go back.
So you can go from, you can report restricted, and at any point in time, you can go to unrestricted reporting. There's advantages to both. But just keep in mind that if you report restricted or unrestricted, you're entitled to counseling, medical support, sexual assault exams. The only difference is for restricted reporting, nobody's gonna get the names of who did it, what unit was in. No one's gonna know about it except for the VA, whoever took the report, the SARC, the state, and the people that were involved. And that person probably isn't gonna get, they're not gonna go after that person. That's it. They just take the report and it gets put into the database for statistics.
So what if I'm a witness? What do I do? What are my steps?
You can report it, but it's up to that person to actually make the report. If they want to
The
report
person that I
it.
tell, or the person that happened.
Say that again?
So if I'm a witness to a sexual assault,
But it didn't happen to you.
it didn't happen to me,
Okay.
and I don't know if they reported it or not, what do I do?
Well, first of all, with the information I'm giving you, you can go talk to them and say, hey, I've seen what happened. How are you doing? Kind of be a friend for them. Be there with them at that point in time and see, you know, hey, I know there's some options if you want to go look into it. You know, there's counselors that we can go talk to. We can talk to the chaplain. We can give them the information that you know, and then you can refer them to the victim's advocate. Hey, you can go talk to the VA in your unit or some other unit, and they can kind of guide them on what they need to do if they want to do anything.
So you leave it up to them.
It's totally up to them. Yeah.
The two different types of reporting affect my transfer to a different unit.
It can. So if you, let's say you were sexually assaulted with someone in your unit, someone in your squad, for example, and you're like, I can't be around this person, I don't want to be around this person, I want to get transferred to another unit. It's called an expedited transfer. Now, if you go to your squad leader, and your squad leader puts it up to the commander's gonna want to know why. Why does this person want to be transferred? Then at that point, you kind of either you can leave it and say, okay, never mind, I don't want to be transferred, or you're gonna have to report what happened. It's gonna have to become unrestricted reporting, because you're gonna have to know why you want to be transferred. Or you can go to the VA, which then goes up to the SARC, and they can start the process of expedited transfer for either you or that soldier that committed the sexual assault.
However, at that point, they're mandated reporters.
Who?
Well, at the VA healthcare facility,
No, I'm talking VA, your victim advocate
Okay,
for the
okay.
unit. Yep. Does anybody else have any questions?
Okay, diversity, what was your scenario? Read us your scenario. Diversity.
Demonstrate how you would explain the different Army sexual assault reports.
So through diversity, communication, diversity of understanding, diversity of where you were raised. What were some examples we just saw there? And his method of delivery or his skit, what does his skit look like? What's the big picture, what was going on?
Just basically giving a class or three taking classes, or taking questions.
That's what his skit ended up appearing as, a class on sexual assault reporting. But the intent in the skit was to just explain to people, ask me questions that you normally don't ask, so I can be comfortable with explaining them to you. So, very good, very good. Diversity in communication, diversity in topics that we don't understand. All right, what do we got next? You want to read your script, or you want to just, you can tell us up front, the rest of these weren't. If you want to tell us up front, you can, otherwise, if you're ready, you're ready.
The skit is to present a discussion between your team members on explaining the value of mandatory training and how to resolve time conflicts that may occur.
Okay, so diverse, we all come from different backgrounds, I see it differently. All right, make it happen. How long do you need set up?
We're ready to do it right
We're ready, all right.
All right, hey guys, I just got a call from headquarters. We got
11:30 right now at 1300. We gotta be down at building 3. We got a briefing that day.
Are you kidding me? That's not on the train schedule.
No, that's why I got the phone call. That's something that got left off.
We have to go?
Yeah, it's mandatory
Yeah.
briefing.
PT test or not.
Okay.
You know, and we have all the mandatory briefings, and I don't get why we go, it's the same thing every single time, and not getting anything.
Well, first of all, guys, I mean, it's mandatory, so we gotta do it. So if we don't do it now, we gotta do it some other time. So either do it now, get it done, or try and find the video and do it on your own time at home. So,
Start lockbox, we're gonna update DTMS and the name on the roster, so you're gonna come out with newsletter, so when you attend the training, you know, we're just gonna do it now.
Don't you guys ever run into this stuff, like at school or at work? What is this?
Yeah!
You guys run into this stuff at school, right? I mean, Mitchell, I just heard your rant yesterday for 15 minutes about females and graduates. You could probably use this stuff.
It probably actually pretty good. I've been to a diversity briefing for probably about a year now.
well, it might be more than just that, too. I mean, remember we've had a couple of meetings in the past where they were telling us stuff, and we were bitching and moaning about it, but then they gave us those phone numbers, but suicide awareness or alcoholism, shit, stuff happened after that. We actually knew where to go.
I guess you do have a good point on that.
We made some calls and actually got some help, not just for like our guy, but, so.
All right, well, what else on the training schedule? Can we move this one here? It's only a half hour. Can we move that after the
Well, we
briefing?
can definitely shift that down until after the briefing.
And you just don't eat for supper. I can give you the PT test, they don't barf all over the place.
That's true,
And then we'll just.
Or I could just start doing it right now. Start timing.
We got time. All right. Hold on, I gotta get my timer. We can knock this out.
All right. See, all right, so diversity. When does it apply? What does it look like? Where is it used? Why do we have to have it? So communication, they presented a discussion between two team members on the value of mandatory training. What were some values that they addressed of mandatory training? Why do I need it?
They get some pertinent information that can be useful later down the road.
Okay, what was another example of how they resolved the conflict with it? This table over here, how did they?
Start with small change, call it conversation. That's the first thing they do, is very management driven, and then he start making it positive, and then they start following about the style.
Okay, very good.
Sartilski did let them get their gripes out there too, but then, like, for our guys that was all start changing. So we didn't let that come out, and they gave reasons for why they were training, bringing up the suicide.
Okay, so we're in diverse culture that we live in, even though we're all from Minnesota and we're all the same, there's different ways and different methods that we can use to approach these challenges of conflict resolution. So, another one, give us another example. What else did they, what was his input to the skit?
The benefits of phone numbers, information that was gathered, how it benefited him and his growers.
Everybody was like me. If your squad, if the whole army was clones, I wouldn't get that input. I need that diversity. I need that option. I need that other voice. Because if me and you were clones, we would have missed that. Any other takeaways? All right, so who was our next skit? Saving the best for last?
You two are up.
Do you want to read the script, or do you want us to figure out what you're up to?
We can just read the script.
We're tasked with acting on 2 real-life experiences where you really felt you were trusted by your team. We didn't really go with real-life experiences, but they pretty much happen every day.
All right, so go ahead with your skit. How are you going to present it?
All right. We just do it right here. You're always sitting down every time I do it. Sergeant G, I need you to get me all these, the screw serve and the VII and stuff that we're going to need for it to set up for practicing for boarding.
Okay.
Can you have that for me by about 1300?
Not a problem.
All right, fantastic. Thanks.
And see. What's the follow-up now?
The follow-up is I come back at 1300 and Sergeant G, being the stand-up guy that he is, handled all that business and had it all set up for us so we were able to continue on with our training.
So And that you felt that you communicated effectively?
I was not there overseeing him doing everything, therefore he had my full trust and confidence in his ability to gather all the supplies that I was gonna need and to have a pen ready, because I always forget mine, to sign the weapon out. It's fantastic.
So that's an example of the diverse communication on how that scenario of trust could develop. I told you to do something, and you accomplished the task. All right, so that was one. What's a second example of diverse?
No, you drew them out, now you gotta turn them in.
That was it. Oh, yeah, well, wait, no, I'm doing my training. That was it.
So then, after he's done with it, Sergeant G is entrusted that when the weapons comes back, they're gonna be cleaned and they're gonna have proper 2404s.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the second opinion, or the second
The second scene.
event. So read your scenario one more time.
Act out 2 real-life experiences where you really felt you were trusted by your team.
Yeah, I gave you a task, you completed the task, I trusted you to do it, and Skip was gonna show us that that happens. All right, so those are our practical exercises. I'm gonna look at my outline, my 3x5 card, to see if I accomplished my task that I was after. Summary. Now I'm at the summary portion of my class. So what's your takeaway from diversity in the military? We're going to switch up a little bit. Why is diversity important in the military?
Because it's everywhere, every person, just because we're all from the States, we're all the same, we all have different backgrounds, organizations, and be able to put that into our missions, and come together as a unit and a team.
Very good. Summary. Where is diversity found? Where is diversity used? Where is diversity successful? Example.
Sitting at this table here, everybody's got, probably some of you have similar jobs, different jobs, different life experiences.
MOSs we mentioned.
Yeah.
Yep.
Come from different areas of the state or the country, different things in their lives, so everybody has a first one.
Grew up in different times.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're all the same. You're from Minnesota. You're all the same. No, there's a lot of
With
diversity.
the EO rep, I think I got it.
Good. Good. Very good. Very good. Let's see. When implementation of diversity. When summary takeaway. When is diversity used?
All the time,
Example.
100% of the time.
Example.
Where's the examples?
Right
here, right now.
Right here, right now.
Right now.
Right here, right now.
Diversity between the two.
Excellent. I'm glad I'm a human. Glad I'm a human. Let's see. I think that's a summary. Key points. Diversity. Army training mandatory sucks. Well, okay. Diversity. What's the good thing about diversity?
The variety that it has in every aspect of duty.
What happens if we don't respect that opinion of diversity? What's the outcome if we're going to deny diversity exists? What's the outcome?
Less tools for solving problems, conflict.
And my mission is going to be full of diversity issues. If everybody just shut up, take the hill, we'd win every time, right? But that's not the way it works. There's a lot of diversity that we have to overcome. Even though we demonstrated in Minnesota, we're all the same. There's some differences between each and every one of us. All right, that's my summary. Question?
But worrying about diversity too much is also gonna hinder the mission.
Historically, what happens to those that don't adapt? Different cultures. I'm not arguing, I'm just asking. Historically, if we don't address diversity, what happens?
Then there's riots in the realm.
Yes. So consciously, can we agree on disagreeing that we have to be conscious of diversity?
True.
Okay, good. There's another example. There's another example. All right, so that's my summary. Diversity, it's not just the color of your skin, it's not just your ethnic background. Diversity is a big, big picture. Any questions or comments? Boom, you're out of here. See you. Go to job, go to job, go to job.